I know, that's what I
Hey, Barry. How are you? Okay, I have 6:30. Like to call the Town of Rochester Planning Board October regular meeting to order. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Chair Mark Russo,
Present.
Vice Chair Anne Marie Maloney,
No, she's not here tonight.
Member Maren Lindstrom. Yep. Member Rick Jones.
Yep.
Member Cindy Graham.
Yes.
Member Zachary Jarvis.
Yes.
Member Zorian Pinkston.
Yes.
Alternate Helena Duda.
Yes.
Thank you. A couple of changes I would like to alert the board to. Helena Duda is here as our alternate this evening. She has been appointed by the town board as I sent an email. Helena comes to us from is retired now, but comes to us from the DEC as a regional mining specialist. She will be a great asset to our board and we're looking forward to that. Welcome, Helena. Also, the town board has appointed Anne Marie Maloney, our longtime alternate, to a full-time position, but she is absent this evening. A couple trivia things as we like to get started here for a little icebreaker in the spirit of October. This is in conversation with Pawtucket Hamlet conversations that'll be occurring this weekend that I suggest you attend if you are in or from that hamlet. The town of Rochester is known to have more stone houses than any other town in Ulster County and is believed to house important record storage documents when the British burned Kingston as an alternative location. To this day, there are 43 operating stone houses in the town of Rochester. That's a lot. In addition to that, there has been an influential person in our town from the past, from the Pawtucket area, actually Palentown area, that a foundation was created in his honor, and the statue was erected in his hometown of Fountain Inn, South Carolina, which is Clayton Peg Leg Bates. And Kate, our town historian, provided me with this somewhat useless information, which is good. In 1966, at our only local barbershop, which is Spike Barley's Barbershop, the average haircut was $1.75. Okay, in other news, training. We have just about everybody has their training in, but for Cindy and Helena, Jasmine will get with you. We do have a required amount of hours that we'll need to get in. So Jasmine will get over you the information to get that taken care of. We'll send that by email. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the important stuff. The first application on the agenda is PB 2023-329, which is a minor subdivision in the Hamlet District of Accord for the Barry Estate. Barry Medenbach, Medenbach and Eggers. His representative, Mr. Bill Eggers, is here for 170 Stony Hill Road. Bill, they're taking two lots and subdividing it in half to satisfy the heirs estate. And we are here tonight to do a secret determination and public hearing and see where we go from there. Okay. So first things first, I have secret forms for us. Probably we write this for tonight. I don't think we have enough. Maybe.
We paid it, set the last one?
No.
Made a motion while you're handing.
Sure, that'd be great.
Make a motion to make this appointment listed uncoordinated.
Thank you. I have a motion from Maren for unlisted uncoordinated action. Second, anyone?
I'll second.
A second from Zach. All in favor of that?
I'll give a roll call.
It's a roll call vote. Yes, please. Just a
Mark Grasso,
yes.
Mayor Lindstrom.
Yep.
Rick Jones.
Yep.
Cindy Graham,
Yes.
Zachary Jarvis.
Yes.
Zori Pinsky,
Yes.
Paulina Duda.
Yes.
Paulina is an alternate tonight, so she is not a voting member. But we'll just fix that. Okay. So I have a secret determination. I have the short form in front of you, the part 2. I'll read through these. And here we go. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
Nope.
No or small impact. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or density of the use of land? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the quality or quality of the existing community? No or small. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways? No. Nope. Will the proposed action cause an increase in use of increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No or small. Will the proposed action impact existing private or public water supplies or private or public wastewater treatment utilities? No, not really applicable. Will the proposed action impair the quality of important historic, archaeological, or architectural or aesthetic resources? Nope. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, fauna, or flora? No or small. Will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? Okay. Any questions on the seeker part 2? Okay. So with that being completed, I will ask Secretary, do we have anybody signed in for Barry?
You have to make a negative
Oh,
declaration.
sorry, you're right. Thanks. I need a motion for that.
Make a motion for the negative declaration based upon the point 2.
Yep. Motion for a negative declaration.
Second it.
I have a motion from Rick and a second from Maren. All in favor? Roll call. Roll call vote. It's always a roll call vote at this point.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Mark Grasso.
Yes.
Mayor Lindstrom.
Yep.
Rick Jones.
Yes.
Cindy Graham,
Yes.
Zachary Jarvis.
Yes.
Zori Pinsky.
Okay, now I will go to the public hearing. Okay, as we open the public hearing, there are a couple of items for the public to be aware of and recognize. Public hearing is for the public to express their knowledge and or input about this specific project. The board will grant public comment to community members who have signed up at the clipboard on the table located at the entrance of the community center. Community members who have signed up will be granted between 3 and 5 minutes per person to ask and to speak about the project. This opportunity to speak is not a question and answer from the board or the applicant, yet the opportunity to speak about the application's knowledge of the property. Comments should be related towards the health, safety, and welfare of the town of Rochester and this project in discussion. With that being said, is there anyone here for the Barry public hearing? I have nobody that signed up.
I forgot, I didn't realize.
That's okay. Your name?
My name is Carol Metzger.
Carol?
I live directly across from the Barry property.
Okay.
And I was wondering how it's being divided and how the access to the second half of the property is.
Okay.
Because the Stony Kill Stream runs right through the property.
That's correct. So unfortunately, this is not a question and answer type scenario.
I understand.
Okay, all of your questions can be answered easily though by a request to the town clerk. They can get you a copy of all the documents, which will explain that. On the maps that we have out here on TV as well as on the sidewall, it explains and shows all of the layout of how that lot will be subdivided, whether it's down the middle, crossways with the creek, yada, yada.
Does it say what they plan on doing with the land, or is
It's,
it just being divided?
it's just being divided at this time. That's correct. There is an estate, so a part of the estate requires that the property be split in order to satisfy both heirs. So I think that answers the
Thank
question.
you.
Of course. Any other members here for the Barry subdivision? Once, twice, three times? Okay.
It'd be interesting to know, I think we
Sure.
should be having a decision
Mhm.
that the applicant, even though it's just it's a lot line change.
Yep.
Lot line essentially. Did provide all of the requirements around setbacks from the Stony Hill.
High water mark.
High water mark.
Mhm.
Is no
Septic
building
approval.
allowed within a certain area of the Stony Hill.
Right.
So there's all sorts of things that are on the map that you take the opportunity to take a look at the map in terms of what can and can't be done, and where it has to be done. There's a driveway or two that's noted, existing driveways rather that are noted. Proposed septic of one of the lots, yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of information in that.
Thank you. Board, motion to close the public hearing? Okay, a motion from Cindy to close the public hearing. Second, second from Maren. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, public hearing is closed. Board, I do have a decision on this in front of you. We'll read through this quickly. It's pretty standard language on this one. This has been,
A quick
quick.
question. In flipping through,
Sure.
not that they ever say no to anything, our Cracker Jack Highway Department had said the driveway's fine.
That is correct. Actually, I did not receive a response.
We did send a letter.
That is correct.
And it's fine.
Okay, so I have a decision for you. This is a 2023-329, a minor subdivision for Daniel Barry and Barbara Hom, just 47 plus or minus acre parcel located at 170 Stony Hill Road in Accord. It is zoned in the H zoning district, as mentioned earlier. I am going to page number 3. Page number 3 at the bottom. Effective approval, this subdivision approval and associated conditions shall be binding upon the applicant and all successive owners of land so long as such use shall occur. This approval shall remain effective as an authorization to secure the required permits and establish the use for a maximum of 1 year from this date of approval unless the applicant shall have submitted written request and the planning board shall have, next page, adopted such resolution granting an extension and provided the applicant has submitted proof of having diligently pursued the implementation of the plans. This is adopted today. Also, this was posted on our website to meet our our requirement as we had this prepared. So I need a motion to adopt the. I have a motion from Zorian. I have a second from Cindy for the approval of the approval. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we are all set. Mr. Eggers, you didn't even get a chance to talk today.
Wow. My last 6 months of.
So we will get with Cindy and we will get the required
Yep.
finalized updates.
Got maps and all.
Yep.
and
And we'll
Thank
go
you
from there.
very much.
Thank you. Okay, appreciate it.
Mark,
Yes.
just
Sure.
when we do materials review list here,
Mhm.
there's more materials that are in the file that you should all mess it up with.
Okay,
Like there's the.
Dave, she's saying that in the materials reviewed form, we need to add all of that. Okay, we'll get that updated and have that re-signed. Do it just items that are in the folder.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good there. The next application is 2021-516 Nadine. This is for DeJager Realty LLC. The representative is Nadine Carney for Peak Engineering. This is in an AR3 district in a major subdivision where the applicant proposes a 10-lot conservation subdivision. This is a type 1 action. And this is located at Lucas Avenue and Peninsula Lane. Mr. Endy, hello. Hello. So where we're at on this, we have an array of documents that have been provided. Thank you. And at our last meeting, we completed our type 1 negative declaration, which is in the folder for everyone's review. We do have an array of members from the community here that wish to speak, so we'll get to those guys in a minute. Nadine, do you have any changes or anything that has come since we've seen you last? Just want to provide a quick update.
Well, I don't really have too much of an update,
Okay.
but I would like to make a little bit of a presentation, because like I said, there
Sure.
are people here.
Okay.
And they really don't know much about the project.
Sure.
So, I would like to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna, there's a lot going on there, guys. Sorry. So that's great. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
So
Whenever you're ready.
for the public, I will go through our verbiage that we just talked about for the rules of the public hearing. Your time is limited to 3 to 5 minutes, okay? The application is what we are in discussion with. Okay, so it's not a back and forth with the applicant. It's not a back and forth with the board. When it comes to these types of applications, what our goal as the board is we are going to take a list and compile all of your concerns and questions. And then what we will do is we will provide at the next meeting, the next public hearing, where we have all of your contact information. We will provide sort of an answer as to those individual items. Some of the items, I'm sure most of the items, will probably be answered by Nadine in her 5-minute presentation, where she will go over the presentation. Because some of you have not seen the presentation. Some of you have seen the public notice that came in the mail and went, what is this? So our goal today is to sort of help you at ease, that we understand where we're at in the project. And then when you guys can provide us with your comments, we will take those detailed notes and get back to you with answers. So just so you're prepared as to how this process goes, it's not a back and forth. It's not a question and answer. It's more, you guys are neighbors and you have some concerns or some questions that would like to be answered, which is great. And our goal is to provide you with that data and that information. Additionally, I'll end with this. All of the information that we are going over tonight is all viewable and accessible by either email or in copies. You can request those from the town clerk's office. It is called a FOIL request, and they will take ample time to get you those documents and details to answer your request. So with that, board, we have completed seeker on this, but I do need a motion to get the public hearing open, and then I'm going to let Nadine talk.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, I have a motion from Rick to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
I have a second from Maren. Okay, Nadine, you want to take 5 minutes? Okay.
I wouldn't even need that.
Okay.
So I don't know how well everybody can see, the screen, but on the screen right now, it's been, map of the project. It's just over 93 acres. There's, this map was made to identify any sensitive areas, such as wetlands, steep slopes, that kind of thing. So we're very familiar with the property, any sensitive areas on it. If you wouldn't mind just bringing up sheet 3.
Sure.
Or, well, this sheet would be good. So
Can you expand it a bit, Jasmine? Like fill up the screen, like full screen, get rid of our silly picture. There we go.
So
Picture won't go in.
that's probably
Yeah.
that, you know, that's majority. So this depicts the process that we went through with the planning board. It's beyond just with subdivision. This is a conservation subdivision. So what that means is that this is really designed to conserve any of the sensitive areas and protect them forever as a build zone, but with other protections too of what's allowed to be done in them. So the areas that are outlined in green and highlighted in green are areas to be conserved. It's over, I want to say maybe around 63 acres at this point. Out of the 93 that's totally conserved in these conservation areas. So that includes all the area along Lucas Avenue, along the low-lying wet areas, and all the area along the Rondout Creek going back. I should have a distance, but probably a good 200 feet. That whole, if anybody's familiar with the property, that whole flat plateau area with the large trees, that's all conserved. So the next sheet will show basically the development areas. So it shows the location of the proposed road that's proposed to run from Lucas Ave to Peninsula Lane, which is a dead end road. And there's 10 house sites proposed. So those are shown on here. Some of the lots are small. They vary from, I think, 8.5 to probably about 4 or 5 acres in size. It's smaller lots over the conservation area. So, so again, this was done in conjunction with the planning board, citing house sites, primarily blocked from the view of Lucas Ave, behind the first wood line. A lot of the houses are in the field areas, or what used to be field areas, and the little tree nooks and tucked in, so to reduce the impact, the visual impact from Lucas Avenue. Also, through this development, we have to meet all the other agency guidelines as far as the health department for septic and water supply, DEC for stormwater control. So we've done most of the preliminary work on that, and we submitted that to the board. It's their consultants, their engineering consultants, their ecological consultants for review. So a lot of that's already been done at this point, and now we're really just fine tuning and getting some of the items ironed out. So I hope that's helpful in that kind of gives an idea of where the house sites are going and the areas that are going to be.
Jack, can I ask the applicant to fill for 3 more things to mention
Sure.
in the public statement? When did you start the process with
2021.
I can't say.
We have a 2021 application date, so that's,
I think it was early 21.
yeah.
The second thing you might want to, you showed the conservation area. If we could go back up to that, Jasmine, would you just go up to the map and point out the area you were referring to that's on the rundown? I think. that
You
would
gotta
be-
go, scroll down a little.
Scroll down a little bit. Just point out that.
Yeah,
conservation.
so this is the Rondout Creek, and there's this, kind of a steep slope that goes down to the creek. And then there's a really level wooded area through here. And that is all conserved. And then this wooded slope in here is part of the conservation.
So that's important. It's not just the area of the.
Right, and there's really no development proposed on the steeper slopes. They've all really been avoided with the house sites. Some of the internal isolated wet areas, they're all in drainage easements to be protected. So the idea, I know some people had questions about stormwater runoff. The idea is really to maintain the pre-development conditions and the drainage flows with enacting anything that's required as far as to attenuate and treat the water from the DEC guidelines. So there are instruments in place with that along the road. There's glass swales, there's some bioretention areas. So there's post-construction stormwater treatment happening on the site.
So that brings up the third thing I wanted to mention, sort of leading the witness here, so I'm sorry if I'm doing that.
Oh, that's okay. I mean,
The regulations require, would you just repeat what the regulations require in terms of flow of water off of the property pre versus post project? That's important.
right. So one of the things with the development of this size is that you have to maintain the pre-development conditions of the stormwater running off the site. That means that we cannot send everything from the road in one direction and cause more stormwater to leave the site at that point than was previously happening. So I mean, obviously, water runs downhill. So water is still going to run down the hills into the wet areas that are there, but we're maintaining the wet areas, not filling them. We're not trying to get more drainage in one direction or the other. We're sending most of the house sites to already undisturbed vegetated areas, so that will help attenuate the roof runoff and those kinds of things.
Thank you.
Can I ask for just to show where the road is? I can't. I know it's-
Sure.
Yeah, do you mind? I have a paper copy here too. But this is a little bit better area in the house sites. So
And folks, there's a map on the back as well, if you'd like to peek.
I'm wondering, this is where you're familiar, a break in the guide rail, and there's a little gravel access that comes into the farm field. That's right here. And this driveway will be relocated. So we're moving access. So this is the road area. And on this, so there are two sections here, and their driveways. If you've gone up the lane. Right.
No.
Road is gonna be on
No.
the side.
So Nadine, in essence of time, we're gonna just keep the process going. There's a lot of us that have questions. So I'm gonna start with the people on Peninsula Lane, because those guys seem to be the closest to the project. So I'm gonna start with Robert Mansfield, if you don't mind going first. Thank you.
I've been
Guys,
following
hey.
the project since, 21 minutes, sorry.
Okay.
I have concerns about access to a lane. It's going from Rondout Lane, a private road, Peninsula Lane, a private road, and now to a third road off this road. I'm not sure why it's necessary that the road connect over to Lucas. I know there's probably alternatives of having turnarounds for fire equipment and things like that. I would hope that could be a consideration.
Okay.
I have really no problem of houses being built. They need to be, there's a housing shortage in Ulster County. My only concern is this road. Peninsula Road is I think inadequate for the amount of traffic that I think this will generate. And I'm also concerned about construction equipment and things like that happening with the road.
Okay. Is that all your only concern at this time?
At this time.
Okay, there will be opportunities in the future because the public hearing will probably be left open. So if what happens, you maybe missed something, we can have that conversation later date. So we've noted the road concern. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Carol Mansfield. Hi.
I'm one of the properties that's probably going to be the most affected by this road, which right now I'm kind of feeling shock about. I had no idea when I bought my property that was gonna happen. And now all of a sudden I'm at a town meeting, so it's not, singing it, and it's going through. The road is gonna be parallel to my driveway, basically, because the woods has a stream in it. And I know that you're not gonna be putting the road in the middle of the woods. No, the road's gonna be, probably go 400 feet parallel to my driveway and then cut into the woods, unfortunately, onto my neighbor's property behind their backyard. Well, in very close proximity to their border, right? And this road, on my road, when I bought it, it's a little tiny road, it's a country road, a big development, 10 houses all of a sudden, connecting to my private road. I thought it was private. I don't know what private means, honestly. So that's all I have to say is,
Okay.
I'm just kind of flabbergasted right off.
Okay. Understood.
And, it's gonna really change the neighborhood. Right now, there's just two people on the road, the 5 lots aren't even built on yet.
Correct.
I get to look at a beautiful, pristine beauty all the time. This road is gonna be very busy. You got delivery trucks, you got 10 families in and out, and then we have construction on a tiny road that we ourselves manage. We pave, we gravel. It's not cheap. It's not easy to get everyone even to pay. There's Roundup also is affected.
Correct. Which we're going there next.
So that's all I have to say.
Okay. We're going to stay on Peninsula Lane. I think it's Jennifer DiDonato. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Hi.
share the same concerns. For my concern is how close the road is gonna be, or if it's gonna be on my property.
Okay. Understood. And Vinny, same concern? Okay. Great.
The other side of proposed access road. I think some of my concerns were addressed already by the
Okay.
wildlife impacts that seem to be taken under consideration
Correct.
already. But I would reiterate the road maintenance and cost sharing, which is not quite clear, right? We have an existing covenant and it's not sure how this new proposed subdivision should mesh together with the road maintenance and cost sharing.
Okay.
Which is, not, unreasonable at this point, but I could see becoming quite unreasonable with the added traffic. Will it become a paved road, will it not, and get account specs, and those are pretty much my concerns.
All good comments. Thank you. I'm going to go to Rondout Lane. John Neidhart. Hi, John. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Well, my main concern is I live on Roundout Lane, which is a dead end. And we also take care of it ourselves. We paved it about 20 years ago. And the way it stands right now, I'm concerned as to why the road has to either come out to Peninsula Lane. Could it be a dead end or an emergency vehicle entrance only or something like that?
I think your question is probably covers a lot of people's concerns. Sure.
And what's gonna happen is now they're gonna have to come off their development all the way through Peninsula Lane, which goes in and curves, it's all a gravel road, then come onto our portion of Roundout Lane, 352 feet, that is already kind of crumbling and falling apart. I can't imagine what the trucks are gonna do.
Okay.
And I was concerned that maybe already beginning construction could all be done at the other driveway, off of Lucas.
Understood. Very good. Good comments. Thank you. We're going to stay on Rondout. Dennis Geisler. Dennis?
I just want to reiterate what John said.
Okay.
The concern for use coming off of Lucas onto Rondout to Peninsula to and from the added population, and needless to say, the amount of construction vehicles and what damage and dirt and dust, et cetera, they're going to create during the construction period. And one thing I haven't heard, I don't know if there's a target date for when this project is to commence. I haven't heard that spoken.
At this point, it's still a planning board. This could be another month. It could be another year. It depends on where we're sort of at in the process. But yes, to answer your question, it's we are on the tail end of the process. If that helps.
Does the peak engineering have a timetable in mind?
We will get back to you on the answer. I don't know if that's been discussed yet.
Thank you.
I
Of
mean, it
course.
sort of depends, we can also deny this,
Sure.
so it's
Right.
not been decided.
Right. It has
Their
not.
input
It's not
is
that
part
it's
of our design.
exactly the input. The public's input about the land and the use is something that we take very closely to us, especially when the room gets filled with neighbors like this. So these are conversations and things that the board will have, and obviously the public, and if there's more public hearing and more input regarding this project. So to say that this has been approved and is completely a done deal is not necessarily the truth. We still have a long way to go in our process. Okay. Okay. I have a couple of neighbor. How about Helen and Joel Kaminsky? Did I?
I'm sure.
Okay. How about Helen first?
My concern is to reiterate what everyone's saying. The road is not meant for 3 subdivisions. The usage that'll be is heavy. There should only be 1 road.
Okay.
That goes in, a turnaround, and go out of the subdivision. There's
Okay.
no need for these roads to be connected and used.
Great. And Joel?
Yeah, there are hundreds of roads that are dead ended. So the idea that you needed 2 exits to be safe is a little beyond the fact. So also, I'm concerned with it, what everyone else is saying in terms of construction vehicles, tearing up the project. And also, going back to Peninsula, there's just a thin strip of land between the 2 properties.
That's correct.
So, what kind of setback do you need for the right of way?
The setback is outlined in the map. Okay. All right. Laura Ayers, Esquire.
Good
Hi.
evening. I represent the Mansfields, and it's a little disingenuous to say that it's on Peninsula Road or Lane, because it's not a public road. Lucas is, this is not, okay? For purposes of fire apparatus access road, it's not wide enough as an 18-foot wide road. It needs to be 20 feet wide under the Uniform Fire Prevention Code Act.
Okay, and with regard to that, it connects to Peninsula Road. Peninsula Road is basically, effectively, it's a shared driveway. It's really not up to standard to handle the fire apparatus either. You're increasing the existing burden on the existing users, as they've mentioned here. They're concerned about the increase in cost for maintenance and repair. If you're adding 10 people to the road. A fire apparatus access road has to have 20 feet of traveled track, not including the shoulders, and it cannot be considered a driveway because this road will be servicing more than 4 homes. And so those are the concerns that I see with the project, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Mansfield. That fire apparatus, it doesn't meet the standard under the fire protection code.
Okay, thank you. Albert DeJager?
Yes, I used to own that property for 10 years.
Okay.
So I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of wetland there. And first of all, they're using my name. Is that even legal?
Oh, okay. They opened an LLC in that name,
Yes,
DeJager Realty.
that's my name.
Okay. I think that it's legal, but go ahead.
But anyway, so those houses look like they're gonna be impacting me pretty good. They're gonna spoil my view of Mohawk Mountain.
Mhm.
And other than that, the wetlands, the one way they're talking about, not a good way in. The other way, doesn't that go through wetlands to get to the fugers?
It's not a back and forth question and answer, but
Okay, well, that's
understood. I mean, I think the map outlines it. It's been reviewed by the Department of Transportation. This whole project has also been reviewed by the county. And the town of Rochester Planning Board got accolades for doing a very good conservation subdivision. So that's good news. We also have some comments from them that we're awaiting. So we'll get those back to the applicant as well.
one more thing, those houses, how are they gonna get the water supply? Build wells?
Yes.
So is that possibly to lower the water table?
There's mitigations in place that you can review, a part of the well drawdowns. Yes.
Well, our well is about 80 foot deep. If we have to drill deeper, I know we're gonna have salt.
Okay.
That's not a concern, there's already salt. We don't have it. Mansfield's.
All right, we'll go on. Jay Shealy.
Again, answered all the questions.
Okay. Okay, is there anyone else here that did not get a chance to sign in to review the DeJager subdivision? Sir, your name?
Iris Stern.
Mhm.
I signed in online.
Okay.
I thought the meeting started at 7, that's what it said on your website.
Oh, the agenda should have been posted for 6:30, but I apologize.
Okay, so I'm happy to be here. I live across the Rondout Creek from the property, just one parcel upstream. So
Okay.
I've been there for 35 years. I am very familiar with the Rondout Creek itself. And I understand this is a conservation subdivision. And I believe that the conservation, the resources that you're trying to conserve are the wetlands, which I believe is more like former pasture land, and the Rondout Creek frontage itself. So I can say that your EAF on the wildlife side is very sparse. You do mention eagles and birds, but there are also river otter, migratory flyway. So the Rondout Creek in that area, if you look not on the site map, but you look under the bird's eye view, it's a really protected part of the Rondout Creek, and we're lucky that there aren't many houses in it. That's why there's so much wildlife. When I look at the map and I see that there are 2 conservation areas, one is the upper wetland area and one is the Rondout Creek area. What I really would like to see happen is not to see houses on creek. And I feel like lot 3, if you look at that map, is a carve out in the conservation area. So if the planning board is using the conservation areas
to justify increasing the density in the conservation density subdivision. When you have a carve out in the most important resource area on the Rondout Creek, I think you're defeating the purpose. And so that one house, to me, is going to be seen from the Rondout. The next map will show the septic system for that house, which I believe is down gradient on the plateau right on the creek there. I'm sure it's probably 100 feet back on the top of the slope and meets the health department regulations, but it's wooded right now. So the trees are going to come out, which is going to create a clearing. You're going to see that lot 3 house from the Rondout Creek. That's going to create a disturbance to wildlife, and it's going to affect the views and the enjoyment, recreational enjoyment. People are going through there, kayaking, canoeing, fishermen come down there through my property. So I feel like the planning board should take a look at the conservation area. A conservation area shouldn't have a carve out for a house or a septic system as well. So I also agree with my neighbors across the creek about Peninsula Lane. There's no reason why Peninsula Lane should be used for this subdivision. It's just going to create more traffic. I can see lights across the creek from my house on Peninsula Lane. It's just going to increase traffic, and that road is there already. And I feel like there's going to be more traffic, and it really isn't made for that.
Okay.
So I guess the one thing that I would like for the planning board to consider is, will these houses be seen from the Rondout Creek? And please pay special attention to lot 3. I realize you reduced the number of lots already, but I was surprised that lot 3 was included. So if you could please reconsider lot 3, because if you're using the conservation density subdivision provision to give a density bonus or make other allowances, you're using the conservation area itself for development. So I feel like that's a problem. So we would really like you to reconsider at least that part. And then the other houses, lots 4, 5, and 6. It's a little hard to tell from the creek whether you see those houses. I think there's enough forest land maybe that it wouldn't, but if there could be a provision in any approvals that there be a no tree cutting zone between the creek and lots 4, 5, and 6, that would further protect the resources, the natural resources.
Thank you very much for your input. Very well put together. Anybody else here who has not had the chance to speak on this project? Yes, sir.
I'll just make it brief.
Sure.
Craig Bryan, a host. I also live on Roundup Lane. Just want to reiterate what was said to the neighbors, is we don't really want to stop the development. We know there's a hell of a church.
Of course.
But it is the maintenance around that lane that we're concerned with. Over the years, myself, John, and Joe patched the roads. We're out there. We pay for the snow plowing. It's a matter of, if that road is going to have more traffic, is to assist in the maintenance of that road.
Understood.
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? I think we covered it all. Okay, so we'll leave the public hearing open. We have some questions that we need to get answered, and I'm sure Jasmine has flames coming off her pen. We will work on a rebuttal and go over those at our next meeting. Additionally, the applicant will have the opportunity to take some of these things under advisement as to the project. And thank you. I have a motion to keep the public hearing open. Second. I have a second from Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
So I think, if I may, Chair,
Sure.
there's 2 or 3 areas that I think we need input from our lawyer. Having to do with the ability for the applicant to utilize Peninsula Lane as an egress, ingress, whatever. Is that part of the deed, whatever? I don't feel. We talked about this at the beginning of the project, and then we
Yeah, so if you could revisit that.
We need to revisit that. What's the?
Well, guys, have you looked at 12522 subdivision design F? No
Can you give me a second to pull that? 125 dash,
22 subdivision design. F.
thank you, go ahead.
Encouraged in our subdivision design not to have dead end roads.
Right,
In
so I'm gonna
general-
read that. Do you mind it? Mind if I read it?
Go ahead, it tells how we could, and you can read this off.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna read
would
that. That's-
Probably mean we have to eliminate some lots.
Okay, so 125,
If I may, if
you want me to
you're
read
gonna
it?
read it, yeah,
I would like
to me. There was something that was talked about in terms of the maintenance of this road as well as the maintenance of Peninsula Lane.
Correct.
That, and again, that's why I went to our attorney, that some of the maintenance was going to revert from the project to Peninsula Lane.
Correct, which we will answer that in our rebuttal.
So
And I,
anyway,
and I can just remind the board, that we did discuss this,
Mhm.
we did submit, the documentation from the deed and,
We have it in the.
the information that was filed. And, there is reference to this particular property and any future subdivision of said property to have access to Peninsula Lane. However, every lot on this new development would be added to the road maintenance agreement for Peninsula Lane.
right,
So
that's
that
what-
they would
that's what I'm
also take on some of the costs and responsibility for Peninsula Lane.
This has been going on for so long.
Exactly,
That's why I'd like.
Hang on, folks, hang on.
That's why I'd like our attorney to.
Yep.
Right.
Look into it. And that's all I want to say about it. If you want to read that, fine.
I do.
Okay, and then I have two other points.
Go ahead, I'm gonna let you get to your points now, and then I'll read this.
Okay, so so that was one having to do with the road. This project's been useful.
Yep.
We went through this already. The comment that was made about lot 3 is an excellent one.
Yep.
Or was it lot 3?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so we need to talk about that. And there was a third, fire lanes and fire service and what constitutes what kind of road. So you have New York State Fire Code and then you have some of our own code that has to deal with the size or the width rather of private roads. I say private, this is a shared driveway road or private road.
Private road.
And I don't know whether there's any conflict or not, but I'd like our attorney to advise us regarding the comments made that the width of the road is not sufficient according to the New York State Fire Code.
Mhm.
And nobody here is an expert.
Of course.
That,
It was
That's why I don't
circulated to
wanna-
the fire
Hey,
code
hang on,
director.
I don't want the answer now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, are we in compliance with New York State Fire Code or not? Is our,
Specifically, you were referring to Peninsula Road.
no, specifically I'm referring to this road where it was
This
commented.
road.
Rio
This road
Vista.
being,
The new road that we are creating. This
it was
is how big
commented, it's gonna be 18 feet wide, and it was commented that that's not.
that it
sufficient.
should be 20.
Should be 20. And
We'll
then
get
there's
the
also some
confirmation.
comment, and I didn't catch it, having to do with and maybe it had to do with the pull-offs, I don't know. But I wanna make sure there's consistency between the code from the state and our own code. And that was it.
Okay,
Well,
So-
whatever code is the most restrictive code that wins.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter.
Whichever code is.
Consistency.
whatever one
Whichever
is
code's
most.
the most restrictive wins.
Yes.
So it isn't if we're in compliance or not compliant. If the Department of, if the fire code says 50 feet and our code says 20, 50 feet wins and
50 feet wins.
and vice versa.
Correct.
Building inspector, look at this.
The fire had made comments and said that it was up to their specs.
That doesn't mean they check.
That's correct. So we're looking for you to just confirm that there is or is not a difference between local code and New York State code. Okay, I'm going to read for the public, so you guys are aware of the town code. This is not created by the planning board, it's created by the town. It's for your people with pens and writing this down. It's 125-22F as in Frank. No dead-end roads without proper turnarounds shall be permitted. Cul-de-sac streets shall not exceed 2,000 feet in length or six times the minimum lot width of the lots along said road, whichever is greater. Measured from the center line of the continuous road, providing the only access to the cul-de-sac or turnaround. Roads which terminate without connection to another road must be designated as a cul-de-sac as further described herein. cul-de-sac streets permanently designed as such shall not furnish access to more than 25 dwelling units. The cul-de-sac streets shall have, at the closed end, a turnaround with the right-of-way having an outside diameter of not less than 100 feet and shall be surfaced to a diameter of not less than 90 feet. An inside landscaped area of not more than 60 feet in diameter shall be encouraged. Drainage of cul-de-sacs shall preferably be toward the open end. The planning board shall have the authority to require the use of loop streets and other alternative cul-de-sacs where such alternatives are available and preferable as a means of providing safe access to lots, making street connections or limiting environmental impacts. The planning board may also require turnaround or pull-off areas along the way for safety purposes in the case of long cul-de-sacs.
So my point in bringing this up is,
Yep.
off the top of my head, I do not know the cul-de-sac streets shall not exceed 2,000 feet in length or 6 times the minimum lot width. Don't have that in my head.
Whichever is greater. Yep.
Whichever is greater. So maybe if it says shall in the law, that means we can't do it. So maybe we could not do a cul-de-sac here. I don't know. Maybe we could do a cul-de-sac and the cul-de-sac.
I think it's best at this time, Maren, that the applicant takes a look at that code and makes a decision on how they want to proceed. They've heard a lot of comments tonight, and I think that they.
But I'm just refreshing the board because.
Yeah,
we did go
absolutely.
Through this issue at some point because there's also the cul-de-sac where it would be, where, you know, with the cul-de-sac. Where.
Might not
that
fit.
Might not fit.
Right.
Because of the environmental impacts that we have,
Exactly.
in areas where you would have to turn around, it could be in two of the conservation.
Correct.
subdivisions. So it's a bit of a design difficulty.
Sure. So with that, I think we'll stop there on this application. We have our comments, we have the board's comments, we have our applicant's input, we have the public's input. We have some work for our attorney to come back to us with some rebuttal. The public hearing is open. So for those of you that are here tonight, we appreciate you coming. In addition, at the next meeting, this will be on the agenda. So if there's something that potentially you forgot, want more time to talk about, and potentially there's another submittal from the applicant or changes that are made, you'll be here for those.
Also, anybody's allowed at any time while the public hearing is open, if writing any comments.
Oh,
So
I have a write-in.
anything,
Thank you. Hang on, I have a write-in.
Review the circulating code that we have. I also would say to the board, there's something that we think, because even though you want to push this onward, we can make a stipulation, depending how many lots go forward here. If you do a call, if whatever ends up happening, that construction equipment access can only be via a certain access point.
Location.
So
Yeah.
that is something that can be.
And that'll be a part of our
It
conditions.
can also be a condition stipulating, we already have a lot of tree cutting stipulations. Those can be, but we, and I have a question here that I don't remember since it's been going on so long.
Mhm.
Normally, and I think Nadine might have answered this, if you were accessing a private road and have to go to a private road, all the people on the private road need to say they agree with this access. That is part of the code. Why did we not, I don't remember why we didn't have to do that. Is it something that the deed you said, it said you were always allowed to have access?
For.
Peninsula subdivision.
My recollection, Karen, was in the deed, that's why I'm asking our attorney.
To refresh that.
That's why, right, because normally we send it out to everybody.
Do you
It's okay, but it was in the deed,
Right.
the deed would supersede.
I'm gonna read the last public comment.
Part of the map statements.
Mountain View statements.
What was in the deed?
It refers to the road maintenance agreement, and in the road maintenance agreement, that it includes this 93 acres and future development of this 93 acres. That when and if it gets developed, that those lots
Have access.
would have access and be added to the maintenance. Also, right, because.
Yeah, I kind of recall.
And I-
This was sort of what's
I
left.
know
Yeah.
that bond property was in there, I don't know, I don't know though legally, because I'm not an attorney, but I do know it was in there.
I remember us going over it. Mary Lou went over it.
At the time, because that,
was part of the very initial, obviously, because we were proposing access.
Right, that was a part of the initial conversation.
So,
I would like to read the last public comment came from a neighbor on Peninsula Lane, Charlotte Binns. I am the owner of 120 and 121 Peninsula Lane in Accord, and wish I could be with you tonight, but I am not able to. I am writing to express concerns about the proposed development of Jagger Farm, which will include a road connection from Lucas to Peninsula Lane. First, it is unclear from the deeds that the development has the right to use this road, as well as second, the HOA is responsible for maintaining the road. We are concerned that the Peninsula and Rundle Lanes access cannot withstand the traffic, as mentioned, from construction will be costly to upkeep. Thank you, and I look forward to learning more about these projects. All the best, Charlotte Binns. So, like I said, there's going to be some more things that you guys are going to have that comes up. We'll talk about that at the next meeting, and we'll see where we go from there. But I think at this point, we have our homework, the attorney has their homework, and we have some rebuttals that we will get to you folks. Okay? All righty.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to the next application, which is 2023-441. Tommy Pinkerus from Pink's Links at 4915 Route 209. Mr. Pinkerus, how are you, sir? Good. Thank you for providing the updated map for Mr. Eggers. That's very much appreciated. Makes our life a lot easier. Appreciate that. That's okay. Go ahead, we'll take a minute to get cleaned up here. These guys are exiting. And here we are, we're here for you. Okay, ready?
Guy?
Response.
Whatever. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Rob.
All right, as mentioned, this is planning board 2023-441, a special use permit. I'm sorry, site plan approval in the business district at 5914 Route 209. We asked Mr. Pinkerus to compile a couple things on the map that was missing. Thankfully, to Mr. Pinkerus's knowledge, he spoke with Mr. Eggers, who had an updated survey. He just didn't have it with him. So Bill provided that and updated all the items in the map. That's now looks much more professionally and completed to our post-meeting letter. So thank you, Tom. We also added the lighting legend. We added the neighbors and the lighting and everything that we asked for. So I will look for the board. This is just a reminder, there's no public hearing on it. It's type 2 action. So
Just change of use.
just to change of use. So I'm looking for a motion to
For a motion to hold on while I try and.
okay.
Hold on.
Motion to hold on.
Hold on while I.
We don't need a type 2 act. We don't need, I have a resolution that I passed.
Do you have a second? No, hold your horses.
A second to all my horses? Here for it.
Hold on, stay there.
Martin, I don't believe you were here for this,
Fine.
yep, application last time, so we asked for a couple post-meeting items. Like I said, Bill provided a nicer and cleaner map. We asked for some lighting updates, parking updates, and some information from when the survey was taken and the applicant's information. Also, I have a decision for this, as it's a type 2 action. Zorian? What? Lighting is located on the map, and in the top left corner, it shows the lighting legend, dark sky compliant lights.
And these little squiggles here,
Mhm.
you go and find the squiggle, and then you have the squiggle down here. So you got a little triangle squiggle.
There's not very many of them.
There. Then a triangle. It's not very big, no?
It's not a very big building. This is, again, Zorian, this is a previous business that is just changing a use. Okay,
And this is just to ask the experts next to you, when we just change a use like this, we don't have to refer anything to DOT because it's
it's a type 2 action.
the type 2 action.
Yeah.
The whole.
I asked all those questions because I thought there was so much more to this, and I got, you know,
That's what I thought, when it's type 2, you have to
Unless
do
it's
much.
changing the access to T. So if you want to do work in their property.
Right.
And you're not proposing any work in it.
no.
No. Okay, thank you. Good.
Okay, so I have an approval here for us. You all have an approval. I'll go over that quickly. So Town of Rochester Planning Board Site Plan Approval Resolution, which needs a new date of October 11th. Yeah, for Planning Board 2023-331 for Tom Pinkeris, located at 5914 Route 209 for Hoxton. This is 1.67 acres in the business zoning district. The applicant is proposing a change of use from a low density, I'm going to call it a hair salon office complex, to a recreation golf simulator. I'm going to page number 2 here. This approve general conditions. Oh wait, I don't have to read general conditions. I'm sorry. I have to read effective approval, correct?
You don't really have to read anything, just whatever you want to know.
I don't have to read anything.
Everybody's read.
I'll go through general conditions. Is it general conditions or effects of approval? Effects of approval, thank you. This approval and associated conditions shall be binding upon the applicant and all successive owners of the land, so long as such use shall occur. This approval shall remain effective as an authorization to secure the required permits and establish the use for a maximum of 1 year from this date of approval, unless the applicant shall have submitted written request and the planning board shall have adopted such resolution granting an extension, and provided the applicant has submitted proof of having diligently pursued the implementation of the plans. Page 4, sorry. Draft resolution was prepared by the chairman and read, discussed, and amended by the planning board. The resolution includes findings, conditions adopted, changing that to October 11th, 2023 by the following vote. We'll have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Zach, I have a motion to accept.
Yep.
Zach, and second by Maren. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Pinkeris, it's that easy.
So I have a question though, before you go. Do you have a real golf club and you like stand there?
So you bring your own golf club, or they have some, and you like swing into a net, which is like a
Oh,
video
it's a real
simulation.
ball.
Yeah, like a screen.
You should have a screen, I got that, but I didn't know you had a ball. you're
Real ball,
swinging
and
to,
it
or-
like maps, the ball has like a finder in it, and it shows how far you go, you chip, you putt the whole time.
And it's just for like driving or?
You
do
can
have a
pick
whole game?
the whole game. You can pick all your courses. You can pick if you want to play a course in California, or it is really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I'm gonna
keep-
send my brother.
That is correct.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm gonna send my
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Your school will still be over.
It's right.
Take care, Tom.
I can't say, oh, look at the bird.
He's out of here. Okay. Okay, the next application is 2022-188. This is for Mountain Laurel Way. The owner is Austin Sweeney. The representative is Matt Town with Willingham Engineering. Board, if you remember correctly, we did a site visit here some months ago, 6 maybe. It was raining. It was gloomy at best. This is a 3-lot subdivision that Austin is proposing in an R5 district off Spring Hill Road. This is a 34-acre subdivision, 34-acre plot with 3-lot subdivision. Remember, board, we reconfigured this lot locally. We said no, we threw it out. We said we need to see it. We gave our feedback, and now they are here back with a new submittal. So Matt, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we don't know since the last time we saw you?
Sure, yeah, since we had that site visit, the lots pretty much stayed in the same.
Agreed,
spot.
yep.
No?
Yeah, not there better.
We like them better.
Yeah, we had changed them, to what we went and looked at. So, yeah, we've submitted a common drive easement, declaration for the attorney to look at.
Okay.
SWIP has been submitted.
Okay.
And I think that's, the bulk of what's changed.
Okay, so Dave Church was there on site for our site visit as well. Dave, did you have a chance to peek at this or have any comments potentially? I don't think there was much to talk about. Okay. You provided a heat map. Thank you. I did have a concern on your driveway road maintenance / access. So am I understanding correctly that you're proposing to give this to the town?
Well, it's a user road, so
Okay.
a lot of times the town would want to own.
Right. So in the town of Rochester, they don't take over any roads. They don't want them.
I will remove that.
Yeah, so we'll need to take that out. The subdivision will be a shared driveway. So there will be a road maintenance agreement for all the lot owners, which Austin you're gonna own all 3 lots until you sell them. So the road maintenance agreement is from you to you until you sell it. Or make a compound or whatever you're doing there. But ultimately, the road maintenance agreement will need to reflect, for lot 1, from me to me, from lot 2, from me to me. But the road maintenance agreement will be shared between the 3 lot owners as expense-wise, which Dave will have a chance to look at and redline and get back to you. But ultimately, the town will not, and has not in many years, taken over any private roads. Now, the road has to be built and created and designed to town specs with how deep they want their material, how wide it has to be, what their finish has to be on top. So what they want, but you're gonna keep it that way.
Right, just to verify, we're talking about the same thing.
Yep.
Here. The road reservation that I thought you were talking about, that was deeding Screw Hill Road to you guys, the portion of Screw Hill Road, the property.
You're talking about from the center of Spring Hill?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think we've ever done that, but I think
okay.
it's assumed that the town already owns that.
Yeah, okay. Some towns like to take it whenever.
Well, the reason they like to take it is because they want to take the road and they need it from the midpoint to take that new road on. In this situation, they don't even want to look at it.
Okay.
They're gonna plow the snow to you and you're gonna plow. Austin, you're gonna be plowing.
Yeah.
So that was my question. That was my concern. Board.
All right, so I just want to make sure you're doing a conservation
Area.
Area.
Is that how it's on the map?
Yep.
referred to?
Yeah, and then notes on the.
No, on the map.
And you have all of the
Restrictions are all there.
conservation area notes there. And these were notes that were provided to you from
Yes.
our secretary, right? Because they were based on
Yeah.
what we've done with them.
Yeah, we provided them another, remember when we did, what was Upper Cherrytown, Cusack? We provided them all that verbiage.
Yeah.
I'm good, Zach.
I'm done.
Okay, Cindy?
I'm still working on it.
Okay, you haven't walked this site yet. I'll be happy to meet you there and show you if you want. Maren?
No, we're pretty satisfied, I think. Driveway's gonna. Is that for you guys? If that's not our problem, as long as it's done to.
I'll tell you, that little walking path wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Like Dave and I were in the back walking together and I said, man, this is a lot, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that bad. We weren't huffing and puffing, I should say.
You were huffing and puffing.
Nah, I was keeping
I
it.
mean, I think that the SWIP needs to be reviewed by.
Yep, Dave will look at the, and we need to get the SWIP to CPL, yes, okay, so SWIP, let me make a little note here, SWIP to CPL for review. We'll get that over. I need to get the town for the curb cut.
And then this. It's not big enough
What's that?
technically, but at the same time, SWIP, it might, when they review it, they should see about what their feelings on the stormwater maintenance afterward thing that it's called. You do the SWIP when you're doing construction.
Mhm.
Then
The post
the
SWIP.
post-SWIP stormwater maintenance,
So
if they determine and looking at this, because we've been there, they say, whoa, you're gonna have runoff here, whatever, do we need a swale there?
Yes.
They need the 3 people to contribute to something.
Sure.
that- Just because of the land, it's not technically a major subdivision though,
That's correct.
so that's really only for major subdivisions. I guess what I'm saying is a qualified,
Well, let's see what's,
when CPL looks at it.
let's see what
they say,
CPL
yeah,
says.
you can do it, this is gonna be fine, or if they say,
Right.
oh my goodness,
Right.
there's a real problem here, you might need something here.
Agreed.
Do you have culverts going under the road already?
Yeah.
You're proposing culverts?
yeah, there are a couple spots.
Are those the ones with, there's triangles?
Yeah, those are flared end sections, riprap. Yeah.
I'm trying to match up the legend with. Oh, I see,
It's
okay.
on there.
I see it too.
Culvert,
Yep.
okay.
I think there was 3, if I remember correctly.
Great.
2 or 3.
Yeah, one right at the road.
Yep.
and then-
So when we give this to CPL, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they'll pick up on it.
Yeah.
but Whatever the runoff is gonna be through those culverts, then the river that's down into the conservation area, they need to tell us. Yeah,
Sure.
it's fine, or it actually needs to be changed before it gets exited.
Right. So I'll ask them to review the SWIP and give me their comments, pre and post.
Because a couple of these are, I mean, there are some steep slopes here. It doesn't look as though they're gonna be disturbed. Most of the disturbance is on fairly.
On the
flat
clearly
area,
flat land there.
except perhaps for the back property, I'm not sure. But that would be the biggest concern is there gonna be too much runoff off of one of the properties because of disturbance? And you're gonna have to provide retention versus just drainage.
Yeah, let's see what CPL says to that. Okay. Zorian?
My question is about how to make sure that the conservation area remain conservation. Is responsible.
That's not in conservation area, it's the same thing we have with,
Husak.
that, it is written on.
An area, not an
You have to
easement.
do it. It's not an easement, easement is different, an easement is where you give it over and you lose your rights to the land, it's not an easement either. It's in saying that you say you're going to.
Are we gonna put some kind of signs?
Oh, you want a marker kind of thing.
So we talked about that on site, that we were gonna send them what that looked like. The start of the conservation area, there's a marker that goes in the ground saying this is a conservation area. Did we send that to you? I believe we did.
I don't.
Okay, we will send that, add that to the list.
It didn't mark.
It'll be, so what it is it's ultimately a post that goes in the ground. And it's got maybe 2 inches by 6 inches to say, this is a conservation area, be alert, and we'll provide you with that. To get your final approval, you'll need to post those. I'm not sure how far apart, but along that conservation area, just to ensure that area is protected.
Because people don't read their maps.
Right, people don't read the map,
And then that was.
and we've done that elsewhere. It's a pretty easy process, but we'll send you that info.
Sort of put it as a key points for people with plunge off into the area. It's not like you have to have one every 5 feet kind of thing.
Good, okay. All right, otherwise I feel good. Zorian, did you have anything else? Okay, so I will
I
get.
make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, so a couple things. I want to go over this. The SWIP to CPL town curb cut. I need to get a fire response. Mr. Church is going to draw up his rebuttal response, just in case you have anything.
Where are the poles to fire?
They're located on the map.
So like right up here.
Dave, you're going to look at the RMA? Okay. It is. I'm going to get you the conservation area signs, so you know what they look like, the cheap, they're easy. And we'll get a spot response from the fire district. So Mara and I have a motion from you to open the public hearing for the next meeting, to set the public hearing. Thank you. Set the public hearing for the next meeting. Since we're not waiting on anything from the applicant, that's good. I have a second for that. Second from Zach, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Aye, opposed, abstentions, none, negative, okay, great. Anybody awake? Anybody awake, all in favor? Okay, so public hearing, so you guys are all set. I'm not expecting anything from you guys, so we'll get you on the next agenda. There will be a public hearing, we'll get that mailed out. We have some work to do, which I will get all those information to those individuals, and we'll wait for that stuff to come back. And we'll see you at the next meeting. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, absolutely. Okay, last but not least, Nadine, Planning Board 2023-478, a site plan approval in an AR3 district for Hudson Valley Seed. This is located at 4938 Route 209 and Airport Road. We'll get a couple minutes to get the maps out, change notes here. This is our last one. That's how you. That's how you. Nobody can do it. 7.5. How many? How many? Have you seen mortgage-backed securities lately?
We're pushing 8.
Yeah. I know. Okay, so Nadine, first of all, thank you for providing a beautiful render. Thank you, everyone, for providing beautiful renderings to the house and the building. Mr. Church, I'm going to turn it to Dave because Dave has some really good. We asked Dave to do a review of this project because it's an ag district and this is not something that we do on the usual, I should say. So Dave is going to just give us a little 1 minute, 2 minute rebuttal, one over what we can't look at, oversee, make sure that we've got our ducks in a row. This is for David Church. Dave, take it away.
Okay, so it's presented in two phases. In my estimation, talking to both state ag and markets reps, and
Hang on a second. I thought you guys
they're
were.
on the move.
I'm sorry. I jumped.
Kids are in motion.
Look what you've done.
Kids are moving. Sorry, it's. You all set now? Yes. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
So leading with the core issue raised in the last meeting is, how does this relate to ag and markets law?
Right.
So speaking to both state staff and county staff, I think it's clear that the first phase is a farm operation in an agricultural district. Therefore, technically, New York State would argue your role is to merely look at public health and safety issues. However, they accept the fact that site plan review can be reasonable, but you're expected to streamline it and minimize fees involved.
Okay.
As such. However, it's a two-phase project. The second phase, while complementary to the farm operation phase, is legitimately subject to site plan approval. So with all the bells and whistles as are.
Okay.
So there's a set of there was a memo you got. I think they wanted some materials. There's 3 waivers requested, which the board needs to talk about. I think the procedural aspects of those seem reasonable to me. There was a reference, Nadine, I think, to the way you referenced it. It wasn't clear to me whether you were looking for a waiver of the substantive part of the lighting, which is not permitted.
It's not permitted, right?
You have to live with the lighting. The waiver option's only procedural and documentation.
Right, and I think, just I wanted to make sure that we were clear, that the board was clear, and like you just said, that we're looking at the health and safety and more for this. So not to expand to like the greenhouses and with lighting over here and lighting over here. I just wanted to kind of make sure that focus stayed on what was here and.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, it's clearly a highly desirable use, supported by your comprehensive plan. It's protected as proposed by state ag and markets laws from unreasonable regulation. In discussions with the state, gotta be careful not to push that bubble.
Understood.
Keep it simple, focus on public health and safety.
Okay.
They were particularly interested, both at the county and the state, of the relationship of the easement code and the proposed. So they strongly recommended that our attorney make sure those are in sync. And I didn't have access to exhibits B and C from the easement.
Okay, I did submit them.
So which is the building envelope area.
They're in the folder.
So I would recommend you have Dave
Peek at that.
just make sure that the easement's consistent with what they're proposing. And I was surprised it was an emphasis from ag and markets.
It's so
I-
funny.
I
And we
don't-
did
They were
have,
very interested in it. Are you making sure the easement is?
it's so funny.
That
The
is-
envelope that's on here was plotted on here by Patty Brooks, the surveyor.
Yeah.
Through that easement, and I believe she was involved with the process as the open space was doing it. So we took the survey map with, the building envelope that was plotted from there. But again, like you said, we did submit, we made a submission on September 27 to address your memo, and we did include that. We submitted kind of a whole new conservation easement with those attachments. So that's on file with the town.
So your waiver request, just board, as a reminder, we talked about this last meeting, the waiver was related to lighting, noise, and a traffic study. So we should probably start with that conversation first. Dave, did you have any concerns on any of the 3?
I do not. Just be careful. You can't waive the substantive requirements of your code.
Okay.
Understood.
The substantive requirements. For example, you could waive the necessity for a traffic study, but you can't waive if there are actual standards in your code that they have to comply with.
Right.
Related to traffic.
Like you
more
can't
specific,
waive, you can't waive the week, you have to have downward facing,
Correct.
light compliant, whatever light.
Dark sky
No,
compliant.
actually, you can have spotlights sticking up in the sky, we can't do that.
Right.
But you can say, we don't need a noise study,
Right.
because flowers are very quiet.
So Nadine, do you have any, you don't have any changes to your waivers? Those are the three that you submitted originally?
Those are the three, right, but with the memo that we had received from Dave Church and based on the discussion, we did provide some additional information. So, the applicant has been working with Cellups on some lights, so we did submit the lighting cut sheet.
Thank you, I saw
And
it.
we show the general location that they're being proposed on the plan. So one of the things that we don't have on our plan right now is the photometrics. They had that discussion with Cellups, if the photometrics are still required. You know, we're asking the board to let us know that if that part is being waived, you know, just to let us know.
Yeah, we need to come up with a
Yeah, so
determination on that.
so as an example, the photometric requirement could be waived.
Correct.
The fact that they have to be downward.
Cannot.
Cannot.
Right. So we know they're dark sky compliant. They gave us the cut sheet. Thank you.
We also have it shows the lumen, it shows what it's called, remember the light
It does
footprint
show
is.
the
Yep.
light spread on.
And the light spread on them, you can see from where this is, it's gonna be perfectly fine, not
Correct.
spreading to have very light at the edge. So I personally think we could waive doing the mapping of the lumens on the map. but
Agreed.
It's pretty obvious from looking at the spec sheet.
Well, let's go
Lights.
through all those waivers. So that's the lighting requirement waiver, right? Number one was lighting.
Right, so
Light distribution
Yes, I'm making a motion to do that because based on, if you look at the picture and it shows,
yeah, so.
right, so you can deduce it quite well. You can deduce it, you make an assumption because of seeing the property, and our biggest concern in lighting is flow onto neighboring
Which is not
properties.
gonna happen.
There's gonna be zero flow on the neighboring property.
Okay, so I
To do
agree.
that to prove that there's nothing on the edge of the property that goes over is a bit of a waste of time and money.
So Maren, I have a motion. I'm gonna do this in three stages.
Yes.
Okay. I have a lighting waiver that the applicant has requested, presented to us. Dave Church agrees. I have a motion from Maren to waive the lighting requirement. Do I have lighting lumen downspout, down
photometric map.
photometric map?
Thank you, somebody can get their name.
Verbiage, thank you.
Photometric map.
So I just have one question.
Uh-huh.
I forget, you're not putting lighting on the driveway going.
Correct, yes.
So I have a second by
Yes.
okay, Maren and Cindy. We'll use Cindy this time. All in favor of a lighting waiver? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good. Okay, let's move on to the second waiver request, which is noise. So Nadine, Dave, can you just talk a little bit about their waiver of noise and do we have jurisdiction over that? Which
Well,
is-
your requirement is that they would have to establish ambient background noise level and compare it against that. So you could waive that requirement.
Okay.
So
So
have no intention.
But you can't, you have that decibel standard in your code,
which stays,
which is unwaivable.
is unwaivable.
It would, the option would be a variance, I guess.
Right, so we have a decibel limit in code that we're not gonna waive. We have their waiver request of ambient noise. Zorian?
But, how do you know it's 5, 10 increase if you don't know any? That's,
I mean, I make a,
doesn't make.
Here's the problem, Zorian. We have an ag and markets application here where we're supposed to expedite things and make it easy for people to do agriculture. So at some point, we have to make a judicious decision on this of what they're going to do, which is pretty much flower seeds, which are incredibly quiet.
And
some-
deliveries.
And deliveries,
I
and
know-
some people.
I know flowers, when I have visitors, and the reality show this, 2, 3, 4 years pass by in all those agricultural facilities, creating events and spreading music everywhere.
But that's
Music,
different, they
hang
would
on.
have to come back again.
They're not asking for commercial events. No commercial
They
events.
will have to come back for next.
So the reason that's essentially what.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is in the application.
It's in the application already. If they want to do that, they need to come back. And then we would say, test the ambient noise and test your special event noise and test your this and do your whatever.
So
I have
I
to
don't
be
make a
amended.
motion. I don't make a motion much, but I'm good on this one. I'd like to make a motion to waive the noise, to accept the noise waiver that Nadine presented. Yeah, I have a second by Zach. All in favor? Any objection? Any nays? Yes, nays? All opposed? Okay, great. Sure. Moving on to the last one.
Just a clarification.
Yes.
Ag and markets rules also protect them from nuisance complaints. One of the common nuisance complaints, of course, for neighbors with our farm operations is noise
Sure.
at odd hours, whatever.
Right, which they've already set their hours.
Right, they're protected.
And odors.
They're, yeah, and well, very, right, they're protected from nuisance complaints related to the farm operation.
Understood.
As a previous long gone planning board member stated, when people were complaining of something that was an agricultural use, and said they could put a pig farm up there and grind corn
All day long.
24/7, and
So
nobody
pick
can
your
do
battles.
anything about it. So they're not doing a special event, and they're not grinding corn, and there's no pigs. going up.
Okay, the last waiver request is a traffic study. Dave, can you talk about that, please?
Right, so you have an obligation related to the parking and road requirements of doing the so-called traffic study. They're requesting not doing that. I think there is some reasonable discussion you could have.
So I'd like to start the discussion for that.
Which is the end of the road.
Right. So a couple things question me on this, Nadine. So I don't have a problem with the traffic on the 209 and airports. I know that other board members might, but I don't have a problem at 209 and Airport Road. It's been a problem in the past. The sight lines are bad, but it's an existing road with a town dump on it. There's a lot of farms that are already pre-existing on Airport Road. There's a cemetery on Airport Road. There's all kinds of uses that are going on Airport Road. So personally, I don't have a concern as to the traffic study for 209 and Airport Road under one condition. And that is, and this is the board's conversation, is, in my opinion, the driveway location on Airport Road is a problem. And the reason I say it's a problem is because the neighbor across the street, in my opinion, has headlights coming in and out of their house at the current location. Now, this has been a problem for 30 years when Dan Lefevre owned Eastern Oil. This has been a problem in previous uses, radio control guys. So my only concern is the entrance to the driveway. Now, in my opinion, it should be shifted to the northern portion of the property where the lights are outside of that jurisdiction, which is probably a 20 to 30 feet mitigation. Now, that's my recommendation, but I want to hear the board because I don't know if that will change the board's mind on the traffic study at Airport and 209, or if this will aid that problem. Because in my opinion, if that driveway is slid up, you have more room at the Airport Road stop sign rather than a backlog now trying to pull out of there, and now a backlog created.
Split up towards the.
Slid up higher on Airport Road. But the location needs to not impede on the next driveway. Right.
Yeah, there's no need for a traffic study.
I agree.
But somehow not to have exiting trucks or whatever's gonna be there, whatever the frequency, not have it shining into the living room of any of those houses.
So I think that the mitigation, Nadine, this is just my opinion, you guys can design how you,
I would like to discuss.
of course, is maybe a diagonal, a 20-foot entrance that's straight, and then potentially a diagonal, so you're not ripping the whole driveway out, and it does snake in to the existing driveway. It just needs to be maybe a gentle moon-shaped swallow into that existing driveway.
It needs to start probably at least 100, 150.
And that I'm gonna let them decide.
Headlight distance in the early morning and in the late evening when daylight is no longer
Right.
with us.
So, because I know you brought that up at the first meeting.
Yeah.
And we definitely looked into it.
Okay.
The reason why we didn't propose it is because of the grade along Airport Road. So when you're pulling from 209 onto Airport Road, it is graded up.
Correct.
and then there's a knoll.
Yep.
So right now, this is just before the crest of that knoll.
Mhm.
So you can see this driveway all the way from 209.
Correct.
So if we move this driveway north, now it's beyond the top of that knoll and it decreases the sight distance. You won't be able to see it there. So it's causing another
You're saying
problem.
you won't be able to see it from the people on Airport Road.
No, you won't be able to see it from 209.
That would be
So if
correct.
somebody turned off of 209 to make a left to this driveway, now until you get to that, you won't see that vehicle there waiting to make the left into this driveway. So the sight distance by putting
Is a
in the
problem.
driveway is a bigger problem than the lights going to the neighbor's yard. Now, is there some mitigation that can be done with the neighbor? Obviously, there's nothing that.
Unless you're buying them blinds.
Planting on the property, and that might be a discussion, with the neighbor, which is really not something that's typically done.
Correct.
But, there's a design issue. with
Understood.
relocating the driveway. Not that they don't want to, because they were like, that's fine, but we looked into it and just because of this grade and where that knoll is, and I've actually been on the airport road a lot, and I was coming on Airport Road 209, and we were with friends and we were waiting for our friend and we pulled over, we're sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden like, oh, somebody so I even know that as a fact, because I was like, just before this is driveway,
Right.
I'm like, so it is a site
Site
been problem to relocate this driveway.
That is a good point, because you do come up that knoll and then you'd be like.
So then I have a question, Lauren.
Because there's no middle lane painted on the road by the town.
No line. And there's things to alleviate that, I know there could be a sign, with the yellow signs with the road ahead,
Yep.
but still, it's a problem.
My biggest problem is the neighbor. I just don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Understand that?
Well, the
and-
neighbor doesn't complain, then that's not our problem. But the neighbor.
But the neighbor,
Engaged there, maybe so we can see your light.
So here's the thing, and it's not, I don't know legally or what, it's not typically where somebody would say, okay, well, we'll put a fence or we'll plant trees on your property to screen our driveway to your property.
maybe,
But I don't know, there could be some
They're-
sort of
They're older, you might be open to that.
dialogue,
That,
but
ideally, that would be a good dialogue, a fence and some plants.
well, hang on a second, because you can't have a fence that high in a front yard. That's against our code.
yeah.
You don't have a
And the
4-foot
road
fence.
is a little bit lower than the house.
Exactly. So it's gonna be,
So it is in their yard for sure, but does it go in their windows? I don't even, because the house is probably.
so I guess my question is this, and I asked the board this. In the event we waive a traffic study, I don't think that this, regardless of the location of the driveway, I don't think it affects the traffic study. Do we agree? Right.
Number of cars.
Exactly. So I think that we're okay with waiving it. My concern is the driveway maybe it's just another topic of conversation.
I think the driver location, another topic of conversation.
Okay, so do we want to talk about the traffic study then, regardless of where the driveway is?
If we were to make changes to the driveway location, would that affect the zone for this land that you can't build in, like the open
Yeah,
space
that's the
zone?
conservation
too?
easement.
The conservation easement.
If
would that
that were
affect
more disturbance, and it would obviously go in that hayfield, so we would have to check with, and they have to approve these plans too, actually, so we would have to check, but again, regardless of, because that's why we looked at it, like, is it a possibility, and is this something that we are looking to pursue?
All right, let's go back to hours of
Really-
operations. Maybe that will solve this problem. So you guys proposed hours of operation Monday through Friday is,
So, yeah, let me go back. and look.
because maybe we can mitigate our own problem.
For
What is it?
the retail and stuff.
9 to 5? So you would have employees there previous to 8 and past 6, right?
Well, there's a period of the season, when, it's a seasonal business. And
Sure.
our busiest shipping season is unfortunately
In
from
the-
like mid-January through April, so it's like.
But
When it starts.
That's for the operations, so that's.
Not the first, not the first, phase 2.
Phase 2.
Yeah, but not for the public.
Correct.
That's
Right.
still not a gazillion people, that's just like somebody
Right, it's
going
like
up
a
the driveway.
it's like 3 or 4 people.
Right, that's what I mean.
My point is like, well, traffic study and lights, somebody could move in this right now, keep a conservation easement and have a house and live there and have 3 cars, and that would be almost as many cars as people coming in and out packing seats. And that, and we don't even have to talk about it.
And that's the question we have to discuss, exactly.
So I don't really think, where you have a problem with this is if to Zorian's point, if you start using more intensively
Right.
retail area at some point. But if we are approving a very low touch agricultural retail,
Right,
or-
but we are approving the phases, all phases.
that's what I'm saying, but the third phase is not a very big retail.
What's
Yeah,
that?
so the
Cindy?
retail shop, we put in the narrative, that, you know, that's open to the public on weekdays between 9 and 5, and weekends between 10 and 5. So,
Cindy has something.
yeah,
Cindy,
I gotta find that map.
what are you thinking?
Repeat.
So
Jeez, you cut it off, maybe.
when you guys did the map,
there's another, go to sheet 4, so
Yeah, before, so keep going.
yeah, like I cut it off.
so maybe really weirdly enough, it looked like if this driveway could line up with the driveway for the house, which according to legend is maybe only.
Well, that's the thing, I mean, that is a slight change, will that improve the situation? I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
It won't be pointing at the house. It'll be
Right.
pointing at their driveway.
The garage.
Or their driveway.
You'll still get an arc of illumination as they swing.
But you'd have that no matter what.
But you're gonna get that no matter
I'm okay
what.
with
You're
that.
not gonna get straight
That's the problem.
on,
Right.
gold in the living room window in the TV. And it's really only maybe a 10-foot offset.
Yeah, you just tweak it a little bit.
Just
You know,
stick it over there a little bit.
Closer to 409.
No.
No.
Driveway across the street.
I don't see,
Okay, but what?
Scale.
Well, no, that is hardly any of the preservation.
That's right, minimal.
It's a minimal amount.
I like that. I'm okay with that.
It's already a part of the building, part of it is already there. It's not
And
like
it would
you're-
also for long vehicles.
You'll be able to sweep that turn. Yeah.
Be better for
Swinging.
something
But
to
it's
swing on the road.
minimal amount, just and to.
But right now, the headlights shine right into the house. I mean, I've been years ago, I used to go east road, we got full board.
Exactly.
In my mind,
And it
that's
was all
solves it.
early
I think so too.
So what, I like,
and I always felt bad for letting their house.
So how about we do this?
let's do the waiver.
Let's do the waiver first. Hang on. So Rick, I have
I'll
a,
make a motion to waive the requirements of traffic study.
okay, I'll,
Second the motion.
Lauren seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. So we're good on the traffic.
Right, so the relocation of the driveway, again, the owners are, willing to help out with this, but we will need to check with the easement that's on the property if it's allowable. So if it's allowable to realign the access with the.
I mean, it's only gonna be, how many feet did we come up with?
There's no scale here.
Whatever it is,
8, 10, 12 feet?
Mark, whatever it is,
Yeah.
they've got to check.
They're gonna have to check on that. All right, so that's your homework, Nadine.
If they can't,
Yeah, so
if they
we'll
won't
check.
let you do it, then.
Right,
Then we'll circle back.
then we'll circle back. Okay.
That's fair enough.
So I'm good on that. Let's move on to the other items. Dave, any other items regarding ag and markets or anything regarding the application that we should be aware of before we talk about the renderings?
Provided the documents that I mentioned, you at the point of a hearing and
Okay.
see.
Okay, so Nadine, on the renderings, outstanding job. I know that was
Not me at all, but thank you.
a process that we couldn't get to, but we really appreciate that. It's nice to see that.
I second that.
Cool, right there. All right, so I have a motion to set the public hearing at the next meeting. Do we want to make it granted? We have a response on the conservation?
Yeah.
Okay, granted, we have a response on the conservation, shifting that. If you have a response in time, we might have a public
Oh, yeah,
hearing.
we'll definitely get to something.
Okay.
in advance of the public hearing.
Zorian, do you have a question?
Yeah.
A what?
Water,
Okay,
the process, you consume more water and also the residential area?
It's agricultural, honey.
Well, but
Agricultural
if you
can do
have
it.
to pay for water with your agriculture.
And you can move to New York City and be on a septic system. Agricultural can do what they want to do.
I will add, though.
There is
that
a,
The DC does have a mechanism to control that, that if you have, it's a water withdrawal permit. That if you have, whether you withdraw this much or not, and my number's wrong, I'm sorry, let's just say 100,000 gallons per day. That if you have a pumping system that allows 100,000 gallons a day to be pumped, you have to apply to the DEC for water withdrawal. So we're not there by any means with anything from surface water, groundwater, anything. But that is something that would trigger that
if that usage is that high.
if they, yeah,
Okay.
you know, let's just take, for example, the irrigation like at the golf course.
Right.
Now, they don't use that much water, but because their system, their pumping system could physically do it, they had to get the water.
Right.
So that is something to keep things in check.
All right, I have a motion from Rick to open the public hearing at the next meeting. I have a second from Maren already. Okay, all in favor of the public hearing for next meeting? Aye. All in favor? Sorry, I'm sleeping. Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we'll see you at the next meeting for
Wait,
public
what?
hearing.
You're not gonna do, and you're not gonna type seeker at all, say we're gonna be lead agency, but even if it's
Do we have to do that on this?
You don't need to be a lead
You have to
agency,
do it
it's
some
unlisted,
point.
uncoordinated.
Well, you could make it unlisted coordinated because the health department is an agency.
The health department is technically not a involved agency because those permits aren't considered discretionary.
Yeah, so you can do unlisted, uncoordinated.
I'm not sending it to anybody.
Yes, but
Isn't,
Do you want us to declare lead agency? Is that, would that make you happy?
something to
No,
be
you
part
have
of
to
the
send it
seeker.
over, no matter what.
Understood.
It has to happen and it should.
So do you want to do it now or do you want to do it before the public hearing?
So I personally
Like to do it before the public hearing.
I'd like to do it before the public
I do
hearing,
too.
so when people are there, they can hear. You always like to do it earlier, we're always off on this, 10 years you and I have been off.
Wait, you want to do it after the public?
No, at the public hearing. So when we open the public here, before we open the public hearing, we like to type seeker, then open the public hearing because we like the public to hear how we got to the unlisted uncoordinated action. Just like I did earlier tonight on the berries.
like that
What's that?
first agenda.
Just like I did tonight with Barry. Are you worried we're not going to take lead agency?
But I still don't, if we don't, if this is
I'm happy.
an unlisted, uncoordinated, we do not declare. So we have to send it to the county, just as
No matter what,
we have to send it to the county.
ag and markets,
We have to send it to Ag and Markets.
town fire, which I'm going to
So
send
none
an
of those are
involved
involved,
agencies.
well, the county, I guess, could be an involved agency,
It's
no,
not
it's
considered-
not
Well,
considered.
no, it's not really
Interesting.
considered a permit.
So the DEC would be, or DOT would be, but we don't have DOT because DOT, it's not on 209.
Correct.
It's not on DPW. would be.
You're right on the unlisted uncoordinated.
100,000 gallons, 30 days, you get a state permit for water withdrawal.
We're not even close to.
We're not doing anything, the DEC could permit, but we're not doing anything with the DEC needs to permit. So if you want, I could say what type of is unlisted, uncoordinated.
How about we just do this? How about we get a motion to send it to the county now? So we get it on their list. Ulster County Planning Board for their review. And then at the next meeting, we type it unlisted uncoordinated action and open the public hearing.
And exactly.
So do I have a motion to send this to the county?
I make a motion to send this.
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion to send it to this county and a second by Zach. I'm sorry, Zach and a second by Cindy. Maren?
Did we already cover sending it, as long as we're doing the motions and who we have to send it to, which is not the same as seeker, that is something different. Do we, have we sent it? I did, did Shippo already look at it?
We have not sent it to SHPO.
It has to go to Shippo because we've got.
Yeah, that's the missing piece for seeker, but it's. But you have documented those issues, right?
We have documented that it is in the overlay for
The house site.
oh, for the historic stuff?
Right.
Yes, yeah.
You've already done it all?
That's part of the seeker that they're off-site.
Right.
Yes. There's nothing
But
on
but
site.
has it been sent to
We-
SHPO? and
we have
SHPO
not
has
sent
sent back their letter
No.
saying we don't
No.
care or we're care.
So why don't we send it to SHPO and send it to the county planner?
Then you might as well send it to the, at the same time, send the whole thing to the fire department.
Yep.
Send it to, they are not jurisdictional, but you might as well.
That's okay.
be interested.
Agreed.
Send it to the historical
HPC,
people. Send it to our environmental people. I keep reminding you this, as long as we have all of these damn committees in this town,
we're gonna send it to them.
they're gonna have to.
Right,
Exactly,
so ECC, HPC,
HPC, our fire department.
got it? Ulster
and-
County Planning Board and SHPO. Do we want Ulster County Board of Health? Did you say no?
I only said that it's not considered a
It's not
speaker at
considered a,
ballpark.
We don't need it.
Although the Board of Health will want the neg deck. Because every time.
But we don't have that
something-
yet. We're not that far yet.
Right, but every time we send something there, they're like, oh, did you go before that? They're getting very on top of wanting.
Good.
To know that it's, yes, been reviewed by the
Just they got
town.
so many septic's failing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
What else?
because they approved all, of it, but they shouldn't approve.
All right,
That's
so-
all failing on it.
How about ag and markets?
Yes, it should go to agri markets. It hasn't gone as of yet.
And do we need to send it to DEC or the water supply is not a concern?
It's, I assume you're nowhere near, it's.
I don't think you're anywhere near the DEC.
100,000 gallons for 30-day
No
period
way.
requires a state permit.
Golf course people.
And also to our Cracker, well, to our Cracker Jack, highway department. But we should show if we would change,
The road is being widened to 20 feet and we are showing fire pull-offs.
right,
So we are showing that on the plan.
I already have fire on my list.
so let's just wait on highway then until we see what we do with the driveway.
I'm gonna send it to the highway and see if I get a response.
Send it anyway, yeah, why not? Send two. The old and the new
Okay,
one.
so can I have a motion to send it to Ulster County Planning Board? That was the big one that I needed.
I got it.
I have a motion, I have a second, I don't have an all in favor. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed, any abstentions? Okay.
And a motion to send to all the other interested agencies
Um,
and parties. and-
I do need a motion for that. I need a motion to send it to all the involved agencies.
I make a motion to send it to all involved.
Okay, Zach and
Second.
Zorian. Two Z's here. That's good. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions?
Because it was just number.
You're not getting lead agency tonight. You didn't win that battle.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, you can do a, you know.
You're not engaging in widening or changing the driveway at all yet, until you find out. if
They're
it
gonna
can be-
Well, the plan right now, even if it stays where it is to widen the driveway. What it has to be for the use.
For the trucks,
To be 20 foot
Because
wide
it's wet.
and the pullouts.
two-way
But
traffic.
before anybody invests money in doing that, it would be nice to see if it could just go
North a little,
Right, yeah,
a little bit
we'll.
instead of
East.
sides.
north.
Because we hate to see you guys do something and then have to redo it, because that would be.
Well, the good thing about it is at the next meeting, if there is any public comment, neighbors or anybody who's involved, we can have a conversation. Okay, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next meeting for sure. Okay, last item on the agenda is, can I have a motion to approve the September 11th meeting minutes? Zach, and a second by.
I will second it.
Thank you, Maren. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I have nothing for the October workshop meeting. Can I have a motion to cancel?
motion to cancel the, paper workshop meeting.
I second the motion.
And second to cancel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? This meeting is adjourned at 8:17. I want that to be known in the record. I want that to be known in the record. A motion to adjourn at 8:17.
I make a
I
motion to
second.
adjourn at
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any no, nay. Okay, goodbye. Good job, all. Thank you. This was